ones. They are the ones with humanity. They're the ones who respect the rule of law. They're the ones apparently who respect the rights of others. They're the ones who respect the rights of freedom and freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And they're the ones instigating most of the quashing of all of those qualities around the world, including supporting regimes militarily, financially, and political cover that are oppressing and suppressing their own people. So it's a level of hypocrisy that I call it window dressing. You know, when you go to a shop, they put the best clothes on the front. You know, when you go inside, things have got holes in them. Yeah, and the sizes are all
you don't
wrong.
have sizes, you don't have the right.
And it's all like junk basically. But on the outside, they show you how the window dressing is. This is the standard. This is what we are all about. The reality is, when you go behind the scenes, you realize just how disgusting, how disgraceful the hypocrisy is when it comes to these things.
But it's really sad to see that not only the West is doing this, also Muslim countries are not supporting. Even
many of them are influenced, obviously,
by the West,
by financial interests, strategic interests, and as a consequence, one of the beautiful sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? Anyone who stands for power should never get it, should never attain it.
Very, very true.
And what that shows you is the people who crave for power are not the right people to be leading you. And this is why the Islamic system of governance, where the people choose an Amir and they choose amongst themselves. And Shura.
System,
This is why this system is just and it's fair and is actually the solution to all of our problems today. Subhanallah.
But the problem is, Muhammad, if you think about all the countries, Western and non-Western, you got only Ireland, How many countries that you stand by the Palestinians? If you think about it.
There are actually.
How many? No, South Africa, Ireland, and they had, both of them had traumas in the past.
Yes.
Even though South Africa very corrupt. South America. I don't know. SubhanAllah, there's no. You feel that out of those hundreds of countries in the world, just very few. It's very clear, black and white. Black and white situation. With everything in the past, our grandmoms and grandfathers used to talk about what happened in the Nakba in 1948, and we always imagine what actually happened and how bad was it. But now it's black and white. It's everything in YouTube.
100%, absolutely.
SubhanAllah, and then yet, those majority of the people, the government will deny and will lie, and SubhanAllah.
Absolutely. And the thing is, look at the situation that we're in. We have a group of basically a small handful of countries: England, America, France, Russia, and China.
They control the narrative.
They basically, just one of them can quash any decision that the entire world makes.
Yeah, this is what Erdogan keeps saying.
Right? Yeah. So tell me something. All this freedom of speech, freedom of expression, equal rights, where is all this? It's a lot of baloney.
It's not today.
So basically the whole world can say this is unjust, and if just one country like America or Britain or China, Russia or France says no, it's just.
Even the people.
The matter is quashed.
Even the people in these countries do not agree with the government.
Right.
So,
So there is
one person or two people.
So they've basically forced the system onto the world.
When did this created? The history of this?
Straight after the Second World War.
Okay.
So the whole point.
It's new.
The whole point of creating the United Nations was to prevent what had happened in the Second World War, to prevent genocide, to prevent ethnic cleansing, to prevent a country.
I can't see this happening.
Well, clearly, it hasn't worked, right? But the reason why it hasn't worked is they've been selective as to who they've applied those laws to. So when it's the brown man, the laws are all applied. When it's the white man, they make excuses that it's a war, that it's
self-defense.
self-defense, that it's actually to combat terrorism. They label it differently, but the actions are just as heinous, if not more heinous, than any of the criminals that they're pointing to.
But it's not going to work because in the past, like the past 3 decades, we didn't have the internet.
Right.
So things are getting...
So because of that public opinion, especially Generation Z, they say, Generation Z.
What is that? I've never heard of.
Basically, these are people who are born in like the post 80s, 90s. You know, they're in their early 20s. They're in late teens, early 20s, coming up to 30 or whatever. And that generation are already very disenfranchised with governments. They've seen the corruption. They've seen the double talk. And social media, they're a generation who've grown up in social media. So they've also...
They know that, they see it from the people...
And they've accessed alternate news. So it's the narrative...
People on Gaza.
So the narrative is not just now controlled by media billionaires, tycoons, but you or I could put a video up and we can get more views. We can get more views than some of these big channels can. So it's actually changed the narrative, and as a consequence, a lot of people have woken up. So before, the Israelis could hide their crimes. Now everyone's got a camera on their phone. So even when they cut off the internet, they store it on their phone. When they get internet, they upload it. So that people are getting the message. So now they can't conceal the genocide. They can't conceal the ethnic cleansing. And so now even some of their staunch supporters are saying, look, this is a bit too much now. You're openly speaking and your actions are openly genocidal.
I see. Talking about the future, are you optimistic?
Well, we're told within Islam the narrative of what's going to happen.
Yeah, of course.
We know that this land is going to be taken.
Very good point.
And this is another strength of Islam. Because Allah has prophesied that this land is going to be taken from you, and the Jews are going to take the land. The Israelis are going to take this land.
But sometimes as a human being you feel sad.
Of course.
And you feel
that doesn't mean to say that we're complacent.
But
what it does mean is that we do our best. But we know that the outcome is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
We don't know.
Let me just ask these ladies if they want to have a discussion.
No problem.
Ladies, would you like to have a discussion about anything at all? Please come here. We'll have a chat. Come over here.
What are you doing?
So basically, we're Muslims.